Alright, so part 2. This is how I would make the dark mode look, and unlike the default Windows 10 dark mode, where it only just kind of half-assed does some fixes, this actually affects the task manager. You know, it will do every app. Now, how did I get this to work that way? Well, as you can see, once again, it's kind of like the basic default Windows 10. And yes, it does affect this as well. The way I did this is I went to the settings, and there's a mode here you can go in called high contrast. Now I made the theme black and green, and the reason why I made it black and green as opposed to black and blue is because if you're going to have a dark mode and blue light makes everything brighter, well, why would you have black and blue? These are conflicting design decisions. Conflicting colors that make it harder to focus, so if not blue, how about green? And make this more consistent and more pleasant across the, the OS and to the eyes. And, fun thing with this mode is it also affects other programs too. Sometimes it breaks a few because they don't have it, plugged in, but like let's say I go to YouTube here or whatever else it be, immediately you can see that aside from all the lovely videos I'm gonna watch later, I'm definitely got a tab or two open. It also works with the arrow, and it also works with the flat design as well. So this is my proposal, sort of this concept of fixing the dark mode. What I would do here for the start menu is roughly the same, where instead of, just having the one, you could have it be like that, or you could have it be like this. I'd do this for desktop, do this for the mobile, the tablet interface, so that way there's a modicum of consistency throughout the operating system. I'd probably also have it so you could have God mode as well. That way, this whole operating system is more coherent, consistent, and pleasant, while still maintaining aspects from both the new and the old designs. And if you would like this wallpaper or any of the other materials needed to do this yourself, then I will provide a link in the description with all the tools and links to the provided files so you can set this up yourself. As you can also see, I have set the taskbar. We go to personalization settings to combine when full, so that way it's like, you can actually see what you were doing, and there's text showing that and saying that too, so you can see which specific folder you're in and whatever else, which is way more handy at a glance. And I think, you should only go to the little buttons here when you don't have any room left, or if you've pinned a bunch of apps to the bottom. Now, I tend to use the taskbar for things that are open, and I feel that's the way that it should be designed. But Microsoft tends to just be like, whatever, here's a bunch of tools loosely thrown willy-nilly. We're not really going to be strict or enforce it unless we are for some reason. Like, some things are just underdeveloped, some things make no sense, and others are just, like, weirdly restrictive, almost to a petty degree. But I think this design is way more constructive as a whole, and way more consistent and coherent across the board. Like, let's say I go to, advanced system settings. Well, this is also dark mode, and I hate it when they aren't dark mode, and not just not being dark mode, but not like proper black. Now, with the high contrast theme, you can set the background to be any color you want. So let's say I want to save this theme, if I'm actually given the prompt to. Let's say I want this to be like kind of a dark gray, and it'll give me a preview as to what that'll look like. And I'm going to call this Windows 10 Hero fix. Fixed or something. I don't know. There we go. But let's say with, high contrast, I also want to make it like the whole thing is the normal gray, kind of darker. We'll say Windows 10 dark consistent. And there we are. Simple as that. And the other apps that usually don't get that treatment now do. So, I mean, if you want your Windows 10 to have consistent theming too, all you got to do is go to high contrast and you'll see it across everything. Now I'm going to go with this one because I like the Windows Phone look of everything having way more dark, sharper colors as opposed to the kind of muddy at times look. I think this looks nice, so I'm actually going to keep with it for a while. But you're more than welcome to do the same. As I said before, link will be in the description for this kind of thing. So if that at all interests you, go ahead and have a look. Anyway, take care.